Hey guys, James Reid with TTR Sotheby's International Realty here, and today we're covering a bit of DC Explained. We're going to go over why the streets are the way they are. We're going to cover a bit about how the metro works, where it goes, the neighborhoods around it. We're going to cover what is going on with downtown DC and the office to housing conversions. We're also going to cover a bit of leisure, where to go, what to do, what's in town. And whether you're a local, a tourist, or a longtime resident, there's going to be something of value in this video, so stick all the way to the end. Alright guys, so to understand living in DC while you're here, however long that may be, you need to understand the street system as well as the quadrants. So, going to where DC, the center of DC is the Capitol building, not the White House. So breaking up the city into quadrants from there is pretty straightforward. You've got North Capitol Street running north, South Capitol Street running south, East Capitol Street running east, and there is no West Capitol Street as that goes straight through the mall. That's what breaks the city up into quadrants. So you've got northwest, northeast, southeast, southwest. Pretty easy so far, right? Now the alphanumeric portion. So the alpha, the letters run north to south, their distance from the capital. So you've got A, B, C, so on and so forth, all the way to Z. Now in the original plans, there was no J, X, Y, or Z. There was no J because it looked too much like I, and there was no X, Y, or Z because they ran out of space on the map. Now, the numbers, they run east to west from the capital. First, second, third, fourth, and so on. The streets, or the states I should say, they're at angles. They're all avenues with the exception of California or Ohio. Many of them are only in one quadrant, some are in two. Massachusetts is in three. It's the longest state avenue there is. Now, once you get past the alphabet, which we've extended past now here, you have one-syllable names, two-syllable names, three-syllable names, and Northwest would be the only one where four-syllable names apply, but they skip to plants from there. So that is the alphanumeric quad system broken down for you. Really basic, really easy. Hopefully that helps you save a few headaches on understanding where you're at in the city and where you're going. Hey guys, now if you are finding any value in this content, do me a favor, please hit the like button. That is the single greatest thing you can do for YouTube to tell it you like this video, and it will push it out to more people just like you. All right, so where are you going to be living in DC? What kind of place you're going to have, right? There's a mix of condos, townhouses, single-family homes here. But what there is not is a high-rise building. And what do I mean by high-rise? Currently, the limitations are 90 feet for a residential building, 130 for a commercial, and 160 for certain sections of Pennsylvania Avenue. Now, how do we get there? Well, 1894, there was this building called the Cairo Building built. It was the largest residential building by far in its neighborhood, and it was so high that they were concerned whether or not they could actually put a fire out because they weren't sure if they had the fire hoses and the reach to put a fire out in that building. So in 1899, they did the Heights of Building Act, which limited the height of buildings in DC, so it's not related to the Washington Monument. That is a myth. And in 1910, they revised it to the 90, 130, 160 heights we discussed. That's why you don't have a high-rise building in DC currently. There's no political capital to change that anytime soon. So if you want a real high-rise building, you're not going to find it in DC. All right, covering Metro and other transportation options available in town. So Metro is by far the most expansive and available option. And there's two parts to it. There's Metro Rail and Metro Bus. Metro Rail does not cover every part of DC where Metro Bus pretty much does. So you're going to find there's two stations where all the lines pretty much meet up downtown. That is Metro Center and Gallery Place, Chinatown. Between those two stations, every line will come down there. Now, if you are looking at the Metro map with me here, you're going to see in most cases around Metro stations, it's going to be very dense in terms of neighborhood amenities and housing. So you're going to find the greatest density of restaurants, shops, bars, a lot of condos around Metro stations, not a ton of single family houses. Once you get a little further out from the Metro, you're going to see more availability for row houses. And once you get a little bit past that, then you're going to have space for single family homes. So think of neighborhoods like Spring Valley, Palisades, parts of Georgetown, even though Georgetown's pretty dense. That's where you're going to see the space available for single-family homes because they're not on the Metro Rail. Now, getting into town from those and around town, you also have, you could drive, right? There's plenty of parking garages in some of the buildings, but it's pretty slow, especially compared to Metro in the daytime. And you've got e-scooters as well as bikes. And sometimes, to be perfectly honest with you, if you're going just a few stops, those are going to be more efficient, quicker options than Metro because at night and weekends especially, they do track work on it, and so it's inconsistent. Now, also, part of the inconsistency with Metro is games. If you're going to be out later at night, sometimes Metro is not running past midnight, so you're going to have to do a little bit of homework and make sure that Metro is going to be available to you. Otherwise, you're going to have to make other options like an Uber. But another thing that is a little glitchy with Metro compared to, say, other public transportation options like the system in New York, it's not a flat rate system here. It's a variable cost. So the further you go on the system, the more it costs you. Now, on the weekends, it is a flat rate currently for Metro Rail. It wasn't always, but no, the further you go in the system, the more it's going to cost you. All right, what's it like to work in DC? We're going to focus specifically on downtown, the predominant area where most people work when they come into DC. Now, right now, there's only about 45% of office workers coming into the office any given day of the week. It's one of the lowest in the country, if not the lowest, for office workers coming into town. And as a result, the city's kind of panicking because most of their tax revenue, the greatest source, is actually from those office buildings. And so with many of them being vacant, reducing space, they're doing what we call an office to residential conversion. The mayor's office has a goal to build 9,400 new housing units available in downtown DC in the next 5 years. It's quite a feat, but if you go down there right now, you can see a ton of construction going on. You see a lot of old office buildings, predominantly ones that were built before 1990, and they were using the structure. So they were keeping the concrete and the steel, gutting it out, building in residential units in its place. So you're going to see a lot of construction if you're going downtown for work. You're going to notice that a lot of the lanes have been reduced for cars. There's a lot of restaurants that are occupying those spaces, or bike lanes. A lot of restaurants have shuttered too since COVID started, so that whole area is being totally redone. So it's something to keep an eye on over the next few years, and expect the entirety of downtown to change. Think like public areas, right? There's not a ton of playgrounds or parks or grocery stores or all the little things that make a neighborhood in downtown DC. They're working feverishly on changing that. But as right now, it's predominantly just an office working area, and then you commute home. And they're trying to change that over the next 5 years, so it's going to be something to watch. All right, things to do, recreation. What's going on in DC? What can you do? Now, I can say this, as a local, it's a lot easier or a lot less stressful than when you are a tourist. For instance, if you want to see the zoo during the week in the summer, you can. I take my kids during that time. If you want to go see the Smithsonian, it's a lot easier when it's not a holiday weekend. You're elbow to elbow with people. Those options are available as a local, unfortunately not as a tourist. But there are some things that are always going to be unavoidably busy. The Cherry Blossom Festival, for instance, the 4th of July, everything goes on with that. But there's multiple professional sports teams that play here. You can go to a basketball game. You can see the Wizards, the Mystics, the Hoyas all in the same building downtown. You can also go see the Nats at Nats Park. All those are accessible via Metro and extremely convenient. There are festivals year-round here. There's always something going on. There are some neighborhoods that are busier than others. You can be as busy or as relaxed as you want to be. You can go in Rock Creek Park. Take your dog. It's a very dog-friendly city. There's just a lot to do here, a lot more than we can cover in one single video. But just know you can be as busy or as relaxed as you want to be in DC. Well, I hope that information was helpful for you, giving you an idea of what it's like to live in DC as a local, kind of paint the picture of what you can experience on a day-to-day basis. Now, if there's something I missed, if there's a neighborhood you want to discuss, feel free to put that in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this content, feel free to give it a like. That's the single greatest thing you can do to tell YouTube you enjoy this content and to push it to other people like you. If there's something specific to you that you want to discuss, feel free to contact me directly. My information is in the description box below. And until next time, I hope to see you around town.